All right, guys, so we are Elegancy, and we've been doing management for over 3 years. We've learned a lot, been through a bunch of shit, spent a lot of money in all sorts of different directions trying to find out the perfect system and the perfect way to actually grow our agency to the numbers that we're doing today. And then what we're going to be doing with that is showing you exactly how we would get to the exact same point that we are at today if we lost it all tomorrow.
By the end of this video, you will have everything you need from A to Z to get to $400,000 before 2027.
So this is going to be like a jumpstart video, so you don't have to wait, don't have to go through all the hard times, experience all the that we had to go through to actually get our agency up and running and make millions of dollars like we are currently doing as of today. So we're going to have a couple sections that we're going to briefly go over so you understand the path, right? We're going to start with actually finding a model to then go into acquisition, right? Then figuring out exactly how you're going to actually get and close that model to get her to actually want to work with you, to where we're going to go through chatting, marketing, and all the 9 yards that you will need to actually make it in this field. All right, y'all, my name is Eric Tusak. So before all of this, I was an ex-football player, right? I was doing some high-ticket sales, just trying to find my way into something that can make a lot of money. My biggest problem was that I didn't have any capital to actually start something, for example, like e-com, wherever you have to throw ads, do all this extra shit. I didn't have any money, and I didn't know where to go. And then I figured out about OFM. Fast forward to today, I'm the leading marketing director here, as well as obviously the owner of the agency. And I'm the guy responsible for bringing our models millions and millions of views. That's how we're able to generate this big old number and obviously more with multiple of our clients. So if you're going through our social medias or YouTube at any point and you want to learn more about OF marketing and actually how to get a model to actually bring in those millions of views, I'm your guy, because that's what I've been doing and focusing on for the past 3 years, and that's how we've been able to accumulate all of the cash and everything that we've been able to do.
I'm a mini, and I'm the one who DM'd this guy 2 years ago and said, hey, let's try to run OF management. Now, I was stuck in college. I hated myself for taking money from my parents, and then I needed to find a way out. I tried doing it by myself in college. I didn't really have a lot of success. I was in Spain, and I don't know if you know, but OF has a pretty bad stigma, especially in Europe. So I reached out to one guy I knew in the US, and then we started working together. Now, today, we're running together 9 models, and I'm the guy who is behind all of the systems in the back end and making sure all of our operations run up smoothly while he brings in the traffic. Now, today, you will be finding out and learning everything you need to know to run this agency into the moon and beyond.
All right, so step 1 is getting your first model, because if you don't have a fucking model, then you can't make money, right? That's the goal, right? That's the most important thing for any OF agency, is to actually have the model. The model is your product, right? What you will be doing is you'll be selling a service to the gooners. Model, product, gooners are getting the service, right? So to find your first model, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, right? And if you ever hear somebody telling you like, oh, you have to do 200 DMs a day, that's the only method, or you have to go through this back-end website to find some type of girl, I'm gonna be the first guy to tell you the truth. There's no actual just specific way to getting a model. It's just find a fucking girl that wants to do OF, right? If me, myself, and I, tomorrow, I don't have any models right at all, everything's scratched, and I have to figure out, okay, I need a model yesterday, right? I don't have time. I need a model now. First thing I'm doing is I'm reaching out to people I know, to everyone. All of my friends, right? Acquaintances, people I've worked with in the past, anybody that I know, right? Anybody that might have some source of bringing me a model, right? For example, let's say you have your boy, right, that you've known for a long time, and the main thing, his one quality is that he fucks a lot of girls, right? You go hit him up, and you're like, hey, I'm trying to start an OF agency. I need models. Whatever I make, right, I'll give you a percentage out of. Because, and I'll tell you why. For example, let's say if somebody on the street tells you to jump in a pool, you're probably not going to do it, right? But now if your best friend tells you, hey, jump in that pool, trust me, you're more likely, more inclined to do it, right? To whereas if you're reaching out to people you know, right, and they have a certain friend who's like, oh yeah, I actually do know this girl pretty well. She actually has, she talked about doing OF. She was kind of joking, but I think she might be serious. Let me ask her. That's a friend reaching out to a friend. And that's what you want out of that. You want people that know people. That's very, very important. You don't want random reaching out to random. Because 9 out of 10 times, they're gonna, and the person that found that person is gonna be like, oh, you're a fucking weirdo. Why are you asking me to do OF, right? So what you wanna do, first of all, what I would do is reach out to everybody I know. Be like, hey, do you have a model? Hey, do you by any chance know any girl? Now, obviously, with that, you have to focus on the offer you're giving them, because nobody's just gonna go around knocking on doors asking girls to do OF for free. That's not how it works, right? So you have to give them some type of offer. 2 ways you can split this. Percentage deal. There's a little trick here. If a girl's new on OF and then you make an OF account, it has like you referred that account, right? Whenever you make the models account, you use the referral system from OF, you get 5%. So let's say you offer 5%, to the certain guy that brought you the model, but you're already getting percentage from the OF page you made in the back end, which you set the other page up with. Don't get lost. I know you're a little slow. Hold on, take your time, right? So then pretty much this 5% overall offsets. So then you're pretty much getting a model for free with this offer. The other thing you can do is you can provide a cash reward, right? Let's say you can tell them, hey, I'll give you $2,000. Now, if you do that and you do want to offer money, you also have to think of 2 variables, because last thing you want to do is this guy brings you a girl, right? You give him $2,000 and then the girl somehow vanishes, poof, right? Because that's the most common thing in OnlyFans management, is the girl to blow you off, or the girl to like disappear, or the girl to not do her work, right? You want to set up some type of system based on how you work, on you are paying that $2,000 whenever more than $2,000 is in your pocket, right? Because then it would be stupid not to, right? And people make that mistakes and they're stupid. So what you're going to do is you're going to be like, hey, I'll give you the $2,000. She has to stay with me at least 3 months, and then she has to make at least 15 grand. Bam. So you're covered from both ends. What this is going to do, because you're going to ask your friend, right? You're going to ask your friend, which you're going to make sure it's a serious friend, not some random person, right? You're going to tell them, hey, this is the deal, or this is the deal. Pick. Let me know. Most people go for $2,000, and that's what you want, because if a girl goes long term, right, and starts making hundreds of thousands of dollars, then you're still stuck giving that 5% for a long ass time. So you make this deal sweet, so he's like, oh my God, I would love $2,000. In the back end, he really does know, but he's missing out. Which you can throw him some bread here and there, but it's just how life goes, you know? He's still happy, he gets $2,000, you're happy, your girl's making hundreds of thousands of dollars over the time span of 3 years, whatever. Now, the thing that you want to make sure is that he's serious, because what this will also do, this structure, if you set him up that way, is going to make sure that he focuses, he's going to try his best, if he knows the girl, to keep her to actually work. Because his goal is $2,000, right? But for him to get $2,000, he needs to make sure that the girl stays for 3 months, and then that the girl brings 15 G's, and that's basically, you can tell him, hey, that's just by her doing her work. Now, you're reaching out to people. Fire. Number 2, the other thing you can do, right? So you don't just sit on your lazy while you're hitting up all your friends about finding a girl and they're working hard on it. You're not going to sit on your ass. You're going to go find one yourself. Look, if you're in desperate need of money, and if you need to find a way to make this shit work, if you have a girlfriend, then put your girlfriend on it. Be like, hey, baby, not gonna lie, we need to do this. We need money. If you really love me, then show me and let's do this. Look, we'll give you a different name, different alias. Nobody will even know that it's you doing OF. Don't worry about it, right? Bam. Go find one yourself. If you don't have a girlfriend, then I don't care. The goal is to find a girl. Where do girls go? Clubs. Find clubs, find bars. Sit around there all fucking night if you need to and find yourself a girl, right? Doesn't matter when, how, what, why. If you're scared to do it, stop being scared. Just go out and do it. The third thing is actually DMing. Now, if you're DMing a girl on Instagram, right, then you have to make sure of 2 things. Thing number one is that your IG looks good, right? If your IG you look like an absolute weirdo, why would the girl even answer you, right? So you have to make sure IG looks good, right? And then you have to make sure, you need to make sure you have a selling point, right? As you do any type of outreach, this is the way that you have to structure your thinking. You have to think, okay, there's about 5,000 other people that are hitting the same one girl up, right? And then you have to think, what is something that I can do, I can say that will differentiate me from this? That's what you have to do, right? So simple workflow, what you can do, you write up 15 different type of scripts of where you can hit those girls up with different offers, different ideas, different etc., right? And then you test them. You send one of them to 100 girls, another one to another 100 girls, the third one to 100 girls, and so on. And then after all those tests, you're like, okay, which one got more answers? You're not looking for necessarily which one who closed. Which one got the most answers, right? Because let me tell you why. After you got the top two that got the most answers back, then what do? Is we do a big old word here that I absolutely love, optimize. You want to optimize, right? So maybe you didn't close any from those two messages that you sent, right? From not those two messages, but those two different types of texts, right? You got a lot of answers, right? Even if the girl said no, that's an answer, right? But you got them to answer. That's the important thing. Most girls don't even really answer their DMs. They don't even pop them open. If you somehow got the girl to answer, then what you have to do is you have to work on optimization. All right, then you look back. Okay, she answered. She didn't like it. What can I do to sweeten up my offer? Maybe if you have some type of financial pockets, you can be like, hey, join my agency, I'll give you $500. Now, I don't recommend that, but desperate times require desperate scenarios. What you have to do is just find a fucking way to get a girl. You can do DMs through TikTok and IG, right? First of all, let me let y'all know that. So you can do TikTok through IG. Fourth, which is pretty much the shittiest way to bring a model, is you go on weird fetish websites. Those Russian weird websites, freaky cams, whatever. I personally don't do this. I don't recommend this. It's probably gonna get you some weird leads. But if you really can't talk to a girl, you don't have any friends, your Instagram looks like straight booty cheeks, or you can't even make a fake account, or you don't even know how to text a girl, then that's your best bet. Just go to those fetish content websites, try talking to them, try reaching out, and hope for the best. The whole goal is trying to do as much as you fucking can to bring a girl in. And that's how you actually bring your first possible model. I reached out to all my friends, I did all this, I found like 2-3 potential models, maybe just one, right? Now the next thing I gotta do is obviously I gotta make her say yes, because I can't just go in her house and grab her and make her do TikToks. That's not how life works, sadly. So what we have to do is we have to make her say yes, right? Now, that's obviously, you'll have a call with this girl, right? The potential model. And you have to focus on just a set number of things. If you have this set number of things during the call, then you're gonna get her to say yes if she's interested. All right, number one is be confident, right? Last thing you want to do is get on this call and be like, right? When I get on the actual closing call with the model, the way I sound is like I know the exact path of how I'm gonna get the model to $73 million a month. And she believes it, right? Because she hears my tonality, right? She sees that I'm confident, and she knows that I have an answer to all of her questions, right? So, and even realistically, even if you don't have the answer to every question, as long as you have this right here, as long as you in yourself are confident and you have those balls, then don't worry, she's gonna suck on them, all right? Second thing is gathering information, right? If you've ever done sales or heard anything about sales or done high ticket sales before like me, you know what this means. Gathering information, right? You need to understand your clients to be able to get them to say yes to whatever proposal you're giving them, right? Whenever you gather info, you're asking her, it's like, whenever you first get on the call, the first thing you want to do is you want to gather info from her, right? You want to talk to her. You want to be like, hey, tell me about yourself. Let me get to know you a little more. Why are you even interested in OF? What is your goals you're trying to reach? Why are you trying to reach that goal, right? Because then she's going to answer with things of like, oh, I've been broke for so long. I just wish I could just pay back for everything that my mom did for me, right? Because then the close come easier. Let's say at the end, whenever you put that percentage out there, right? And she's like, I don't know, that seems like a lot, right? Or like, that seems like a lot. Be like, okay, but if I can get you to actually make your mom proud, wouldn't you say that that's worth it? Boom, close, right? So you need to gather info for two reasons. Number one, to see if she's a good fit. Number two, to make sure she gets sold on joining your agency, right? You need to find as much information about this girl, right? But you want to find deep information. You want to understand why, because most girls are not, they're, obviously there are some girls that are waking up and they're like, oh, I want to do OF, right? But not every girl's going to wake up out of bed and going to be like, oh yeah, I need to do OF today, right? Most girls are shy, they really don't want to do it, but they would do it. Like, they do want to do it, but there's something holding them back. Number three is you have to know your system. Now, knowing your system doesn't mean you're gonna explain to her exactly how the first 30 days are gonna look. Obviously, I'm new at this, I'm not gonna know. But I have to know, I have to understand some type of system. I have to make some type of game plan in my head of what I'm gonna do with the girl prior to the call. So then, whenever I actually hop on the call, I'm not stuck. She's gonna be like, okay, so how is it gonna look? And I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out. No, you can't do that. You have to have at least have some type of game plan. Even if it's not real, even if you're gonna find it along the way, you need to have some type of system in your brain somehow. You know why? Because if you know your system and you know what you're doing, you go up here and then you can be confident. And then as you're confident, right, you're not stuck thinking throughout the call, oh, what I'm gonna tell her, what I'm not gonna tell her. No, you're gonna be right here gathering all the information you need to where after you're gonna explain to her the system, you either made up or you know, to then you're gonna have what we call an easy sign. And now let's say you're a guy that's have experienced a lot of issues with actually signing girls. I'm the master at closing these girls on calls. And if you don't believe me, my track record is incredible. I have girls that came to me that started the call like, oh, just letting you know off the bat, I would never sign for anything over 30%. And then by the end of the call, they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited to start at 70%, right? So also, if you go through my Instagram, you should be able to find, if you go to my Instagram, you should find some of my live calls where I literally did that. And I went through my whole process, like live calls. I'm not talking about like shit like this. Like me actually on the phone with these girls as I close my real-time models. But yeah, that's pretty much it for closing a model. You need to be confident, gather info, know your system. Because then if you know your system, you're confident. If you're confident, you can gather info without worrying about the rest of the call. So then you explain her your system and then go into the close and have an easy sign. Last thing you want is to sign a girl that is unsure, unready, unsatisfied with the call, because then guess what? She's gonna be like, yeah, whatever. After you end that call, she's not gonna text you back.
All right, now that you closed your first deal, congratulations. The hard part begins now. Now, the girl is closed, but she needs to actually stay with you and understand everything she has to do in order for you guys to work together and achieve financial freedom. How are you gonna do this? You're gonna get on another call with her and explain all of the steps that she's gonna take after starting. So you close the call, she signed the contract, boom, another call where you're introducing the system. Let me explain. You're gonna be breaking down 3 things for her. 1 is gonna be marketing. Number 2, it's gonna be chatting. And the third thing is gonna be relationship. So when you're breaking down marketing, you're gonna explain to her what she will be doing day to day, week to week, in order for you guys to achieve your goals. Now, you're not gonna just dump a lot of information on her head. You're gonna briefly explain everything smoothly and then pretty much give her a vision of how you're gonna take her from week 1 to month 3, right? You're looking at this as a long-term relationship. Then afterwards, with chatting, you're just gonna explain to her what happens in the chats and break down briefly how gooners come in and they fall in love and they spend money. That's a very, very simple explanation. Where she's gonna be, her part here is gonna be the shooting the content that you're gonna sell. Now, obviously, you want to make sure she's comfortable, because otherwise, she's either gonna ghost you or leave or fucking sue you. So, always, always, always make sure you have a good relationship with her, so you guys can communicate with each other. If she has some content that she doesn't want to make, she's gonna come and tell you if she thinks you're trustworthy. So, this is the reason relationship is very important. But I don't want you to look at it like you're friends
or your girlfriend or anything. No, this at the end of the day is a business relationship. The biggest problem is that it's a business relationship between you and the girl. This girl is also your partner at this point, right? Because if she doesn't do her work, you don't have results. If you don't do the work, she doesn't have results. So it's very important to understand each other and respect each other, and also have boundaries. Now, another very important factor in OnlyFans management is retaining your clients, LTV, right? So there's multiple ways you can have retention with your clients. One is results. Bringing them results, they're always gonna love you. But let's say you're starting out, so it's very important to put in that extra elbow grease to make sure you maintain your relationship with your model, so she doesn't leave you the day she sees your new chatter just sold a PPV for $10. The way we do this is we make the girl think like she's working with Apple, not with some OF random agency or some other dropout guy that's actually trying to, make a living out of here. One thing we do is we send feedback forms or review, weekly, bi-weekly reviews where you go in the numbers and understand, show her and explain to her where you pulled in the work, and always make it look like, you did the heavy lifting, and then also break down where she did good, where she could do better, and every other scenario. But again, keep in mind this is a girl, so you can't be going around telling her like she's your bro, yo, put some makeup on. No, you gotta always blame it on the lighting and tell her that she would look better with a bit of extra blush. All right, so now you got your model. She's locked in. She's ready to go. She's ready to make a fuck ton of money, right? Because you use my sales knowledge, right? And yes, as you can tell, I got a haircut right in the middle of this YouTube video. Don't worry about that shit. Right, so boom. You got the model. She is locked. That's how I draw a lock, right? Boom. The main thing right now, nowadays, is that there's a lot of girls on the platform, right? Every day that we wake up, there's like 1,000 more, right? Now, I'm giving you the game plan from a pure new girl, right? Brand new, clean archetype, everything. She's new to OF, right? Because that's really easy to start, right? If you can get a girl from the beginning to 100K, then with a girl that's already doing it, it should be twice as easy. So boom. So what I'll do is you want to grow an ecosystem, right? Pretty much like a well-oiled machine that keeps running and engaging and getting your content across as many places as you can, right? So what I would do, right, is after I got the model locked in, right, she's like, oh my God, I love you, I'll do anything for you, bam. What I'll do, right, I'm gonna make her make first TikTok account, bam. Now with that, she's gonna make 5 posts per day, which are keyword simple, right? Simple TikToks, right? Some of you might be like, oh, 5 posts a day is like insane. No girl's ever gonna do that. Yes, she will if the content's easy as fuck that she can bang out in 10 minutes, right? And TikTok, either way, is more of a brain rot platform, right? And there's a lot of advantageous styles of content, for example, like little text on screen with some crazy text, etc., talking, and not like skits, like in more Instagram content, right? So you're gonna focus on giving her simple style content, right? And you're gonna see what works on her, right? Boom. Now, let's have it right here. Boom. So boom. You got TikTok 1. Bam. TikTok 1 starts doing really good. What do you do then? You make her do TikTok 2, right? So boom. She made TikTok 1. It's going good. She's getting close to 1,000 followers, right? Because you asked me about what's the best content strategies for TikTok, so I hit you back up on IG and just let you know, because I'm a G, right? TikTok number 2, right? Then you make her make the TikTok number 2. As soon as I make the TikTok number 2, what I would do is make an IG. Bam. Make an IG, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna repurpose the TikToks on that IG, because too many people are trying to start an IG from scratch, right? Everybody's trying to do those really hard, in-depth reels and skits and all that bullshit from the beginning, which 1, it burns out the fucking creator. 2, it takes too long to start seeing money, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna repurpose, right, on the IG, right? Make IG number 1, right? And then as you're growing these 2, you're also start repurposing to grow the IG number 1, right? Now, once each TikTok hits 1,000 followers, then you put link to OF. Soon as a TikTok hits 1,000 followers, you want to put a link to OF. Now, for any beginners out there, that doesn't mean an actual, like you just copy and paste her OF link. No, there's one way to actually get a direct funnel from TikTok to OF, and one of the only guys that has the sauce for that, you guessed it, it's me. Hit me up if you actually want to know how to put an actual deep link through TikTok to OF, right? Because I'm going to tell you why. Everybody wants to go IG this, IG that, right? Subscribers are going to look at that shit. They're going to be like, oh, look, it's just the same girl, just different font. No. The girl that you're going to do with a simple style content, she's going to look like an actual girl next door rather than a girl that has a whole team behind her that's helping her with all her content. So then you're giving her 5 TikToks a day. She spends what, like 5 minutes to bang out these 2 accounts, right? And as this one starts growing, you already got a link on this one. Bam, you smack the link on this one because it's past 1,000 followers, right? And then this one's starting to grow good. So then what do? Wow. You could have guessed it. TikTok number 3. Because the clips are so fucking easy to do, she can spend time daily making them, right? Through the TikTok app, which actually TikTok likes more, right? To be actually filmed by her through her app, not somebody managing the account, right? So you're getting the boost from fucking TikTok as well, right? And then what are you gonna do then? Boom. You're gonna make IG number 2. And then what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen as you make IG number 2, right? Guess. You're gonna repurpose the TikToks to IG number 2. Boom. It's not hard. So you just have to connect the dots. Bam. And then now this IG, right, is starting to do good. It's growing well. It's getting big. It's looking amazing, right? It's looking absolutely beautiful. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this from repurposing and you're gonna scratch that shit, and then you're gonna make it an actual, the main IG. You're gonna make it the main IG, right? Where you post in-depth reels. Because just repurposing TikToks can only get you so far. But whenever you actually do really good in-depth reels, right? Most of the time you can even copy examples if you're not that good at content directing, right? From other models. You literally just start doing more in-depth reels because the TikToks repurposed can only get you so far into the process, right? But it really doesn't drive that pure engagement that Instagram needs to really blow up an account, right? You make this the main IG, right? You're scaling this one. Boom, TikTok number 3 is doing good. Guess what? New TikTok, right? And guess what? Wow. You make a 3rd IG. Start growing that one too with these clips. And then from the clips from this one, you have 5 clips a day that are not being used. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna bam, bam, trial reels. So you have multiple accounts growing at the same time. You have trial reel systems growing. And then on top of everything, if the main IG goes down like everybody's been experiencing and losing their shit because they only have 1 IG per model, right? And everybody's sad and crying because they lost everything. You're not worried because you have another IG brewing up, getting ready. It's getting baked in the oven for you to slap your salami on it. You know what I'm saying? And then you pretty much understand it. It's basic math. You're just running a well-oiled machine as she's doing TikToks. You're growing IG accounts, right? And then at the same time, you develop one main Instagram that is backed by the second Instagram that can be switched right away because this one's getting good engagement because it's been getting grown for a good amount of time as well. And then if I was to put a name on this, it would be, how does Eric get these girls so many views and so much money in the time span of just the first couple of months of them starting from 0? Yeah, while your usual manager brings a girl on and it takes them 17 months for her to even start getting close to 100K, our girls are doing simple fucking TikToks, not worried about shit, a couple reels per week, right? And they're starting to see a massive results super fast. Now, another thing that I'm gonna tell you right now as a tip, because none of these other managers will tell you that you're trying to take your money, right? Which I don't give a about that. I give a about the platform we're launching. What I give a about, right, is that you get the honest truth. If your model, you try every type of TikTok, right? Obviously, if you ask me what are the best TikToks, I help you out and shit. But if your girl just simply does not blow up on TikTok, right? It seems like nothing's working on her. She's not even really getting good views on IG. I want you to do something that's very important that some people miss, right? Tell her, hey, maybe this strategy I'm running, or maybe you're not built for OF, and then just find another girl that works. Because there's infinite amount of girls, and all you have to do is just have the balls to find them. And yeah, you run this whole system, that's all you need to start getting girls a ton of money really fast.
All right, so you got your first fans in the door. Now, how do we make money off of them? It's very, very simple, but it's very, very important you understand these frameworks and fundamentals of chatting for you to make money actually in this industry. 99.9% of the money in this industry is made in the chats, in the messages. Why? Because people come in and end up spending thousands of dollars on your girls if you play your cards right. Now, contrary to popular belief, you're not gonna get 100 people spending $1. No, you're gonna get 2 to 3 to 5 to 10 people spending from 500 to 1,000 people. That's your goal. Don't go for the masses. Go for the select few that are gonna be performing best, right? Who's gonna be spending the most. How do you do that? You emotionally connect with them. You're not gonna be like, hey, here's a video of me blasting my thing, $20, thank you very much. It's not a fucking marketplace, right? You're here to give an experience. You're here to offer something that he can't get anywhere else. It's very important to make any one of them feel like they're special, like they're the only ones who are getting texted with. So, with emotional connection, it's very important to build a bit of rapport before you actually start setting the first PPV. Secondly, is the ladders. You're not gonna send PPVs, $10, $10, $10, $10. No, it's very simple. Where's this? You're gonna start somewhere, right? With a free picture of the girl watching Netflix, watching a movie, whatever. She's like, oh, I'm here in bed watching Euphoria. What are you doing? Boom, that's your free PPV. That gets him rolling. That gets him going, right? Then you escalate. 15 to 20 bucks, 30 bucks. Few pictures, a video of her starting to take the top off, and now she's in a bra. Boom. Then you escalate even more and more and more, right? It's very important to space all of this out so the guy doesn't, come to the finish and then just leaves, right? It's very, very important to maximize the amount of content that you have and elongate the process of him, busting. Now, with these ladders, is how you're gonna make the most amount of money. You start small, and then you end up having him pay $200, $400, $500 for just one video. You add them all up, 200 with 200 with 300 with 50 with 40 with 60 with 30, 50, whatever, 20, and then you're in a total of like 2,000 in just one session where the guy texted. Very simple, a lot of money. Again, if you have 10 guys, each spending $10, you're not gonna get there, right? Or if you go in a line and everything is $10, $10, $10, you're just gonna make $100. You're gonna run out of content, then the guy's gonna get bored. Number 3 that's gonna make you a lot of money is the mass DMs. Not all of the fans are gonna be 100% active all the time. So from time to time, you gotta shoot them a text and get them intrigued in order to start one of these two conversations. A few examples are gonna be something like, you would not believe what I dreamt of last night. Oh my God, you would not believe what happened yesterday. Something that's gonna intrigue the fan and get him questioning and talking to the girl. It's, again, very important to open the door so you can start doing these two. A lot of fans come in, they're not gonna be active, they're gonna just like wait out their subscription, and then boom, you made no money off of them, when you could have made a few $1,000s. So mastering these is very, very, very important. Now I wish you best of luck, make some money, because you gotta start hiring people. You don't wanna do this for a lot of time. Now that you started making money, it's very important that you don't crumble under pressure. Your time is probably limited, and you don't want to be working basically a glorified McDonald's job. You want to start scaling. And how are you going to scale? I'm telling you how you're not going to scale. If you hire too early and hire the wrong hires, you're going to f yourself. You're going to lose a lot of money, and then if the job is done poorly,
you're gonna lose your models as well, and then boom, you're back to square one. So what you shouldn't hire is a content director or a model manager or an assistant if you have anything under 10 models, maybe 5 if you're by yourself. What you should hire, and what's taking probably most of your time and is still making you a lot of money, so it's very important to replace it, you should have 3 chatters per day, 8-hour shifts, 24 hours covered, so your models never, never, never feel like they're not taken care of in the chats. But it's still very, very important you train them well, because that's your main money maker. Train your chatter, train him very, very well before you even get off of the chat. The second way of scaling is going to be acquisition. You have 2 models, they're each making 10K a month. You take 50%, you pay out maybe 10% in everything else, expenses related. Boom, you're making 8 grand a month. 8 grand a month is not bad. You add another 2 girls that are making 10K each, boom, that's 16 grand in your pocket every month. Let's fucking go. But very important is to not over onboard. If you have too many creators that you cannot focus on them individually and make them feel like you are, again, the Apple of OFM, they're just gonna leave and you're again at square one. So it's very important you stick with the models that are gonna be fit to your system and the models that you can actually manage. So number 3, what is number 3? I'm about to show you. The third way of scaling, and the biggest and the most important one, is gonna be AI. These 2 I would have done anyways 2 years ago, and I would still do right now, but I didn't have as much of a powerful AI as you had 2 years ago when I started. So consider yourself lucky. Now, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I made myself a command center. I got a bunch of developers that are working on it 24/7, and it helps me run my agency from A to Z. It helps me solve all my fucking problems. It's amazing, and I might give access to some of you soon in the near future. DM me OFM for details. Now, another way you can use AI, because I'm not here just to shit on you and tell you how cool I am, is going to be AI content. You can start pushing out AI content of your creators, so that doesn't take more time out of their day, and boom, brings more revenue. Now, unless you're on a very, very good split with your model, this is also very time consuming, unless you're like me and you have everything automized because you paid people to build you the system itself. Good job, you made it to the end of the video. Now, let me walk you through the conclusion. Now, you know how to acquire your first model, how to onboard her, how to retain the relationship with her, and you understand how important it is for your model to respect and like you. And then afterwards, you've learned how to market the model in order to bring in the fans that you're gonna milk out of money with the chatting that you've learned today. Afterwards, when all of that is done and everything is well, you've learned how to scale and how to maximize your income over the span of a few months. Good job, congratulations. You can now make hundreds of thousands of dollars online from everywhere in the world. You're welcome. Now, down in the description, you have our free Discord where we share free sauce and we have calls with everybody in our community, and also our Telegram channels. And if you're looking for one-on-one consulting, actually just DM either me or Eric, OFM, and we'll help you out. Congratulations for making it this far. Good luck in your journey, and we'll see you next time.